Welcome to Soul Fire Ascension with Raven and Lisa Love Light. Raven is a clinical hypnotherapist, angelic alchemy practitioner, Reiki master, and spiritual coach, guiding souls through past life regression, Akashic readings, and deep transformational healing. Lisa Love Light walks the path of awakening and remembrance, weaving esoteric wisdom with the living light of Source, Reiki past life healing hypnosis, Akashic readings, and intuitive coaching. She helps others activate their divine blueprint and highest timeline. Together, Raven and Lisa invite you into a sacred space of healing, remembrance, and empowerment. Greetings and welcome to another edition of Soul Fire Ascension. Tonight we have our returning champion, Kim Kent. And we're going to play the video for Kim. We have a different video this time for her. There we go. Soul Fire Ascension welcomes back Kim Kent, this time to dive deep into her powerful book, Inner Forces. In this episode, we move beyond her life story and get into the mechanics of the soul. The forces that shape your destiny, how past lives imprint your present choices, the symbols and patterns guiding your evolution, where trauma transforms into spiritual mastery, drawing from numerology, reincarnation, astrology, dream symbolism, and decades of spiritual psychology. Kim lays out how Inner Forces teaches us to read the silent architecture of our soul. Kim's own journey, marked by profound loss, intuitive awakenings, and lifelong service, gives her a perspective few teachers carry. Her work bridges the unseen with the practical, offering clear tools for living with purpose, clarity, and alignment. Join us live Friday, December 12th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Catch the replay anytime on YouTube or on Rumble at Soul Fire Ascension, or listen on Spotify. Like, share, and subscribe to Soul Fire Ascension for more conversations that push consciousness forward. Holiday sale. Everything on the website is 40% off right now. Courses, meditations, ancestral healing, and more. Use code RAVEN40 at checkout. Give yourself the gift of healing at ravenshealingarts.com. Ta-da!
Awesome. Welcome back, Kim.
Yeah, thank you. And that was a beautiful wrap. Thank you. I couldn't have done a better job myself.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Indeed. So we could have just kept going and going. The last visit that we had with you, such a beautiful conversation that we had. And during last show, we ran out of time. We were not able to touch in on the fact that you have a book.
Yeah.
And so that's why we wanted to welcome you back, so we can also discuss your book and all the juicy content that is within it, and how you assist with assisting people with their blueprint, with the human blueprint, with our soul.
I think we were just talking before. I wanted to discuss the backstory of a book. I think, it's quite a big task for any of us to write a book of anything. But mine was actually, I'm not the original author of The Inner Forces. That was written in 1982 by my mentor, Helga Davis. One of my I actually lent the book to one of my clients, and she had this epiphany and she had a dream. She's very in tune with her guides, and they urged me to rewrite it in a more modern language. Being in the 80s, there was a lot more of the patriarch type issues around. Even like the first, there's a quote in the original which is about a philosopher who talks about condemnation before investigation. And I think that was a time when there was a lot of condemnation. We were still trying to get our way around, well, spirituality really wasn't even a subject, let alone our emotions or anything to do with past lifetimes. So I know that Helga herself was pushing back because of, I don't know, she had her own past lifetime issues of being burnt at the stake and so forth. And so she was dealing with a lot of condemnation. So the wording was a little bit, maybe a little bit more authoritarian, or a little bit more trying to convince us that these things existed, that, you know, that we did have past lifetimes. So I took that on board, and I started writing it during COVID, actually. So it was perfect timing. And I found that, yeah, the wording, it was more because our consciousness has risen so much since that time. It was really important to sort of address that we have moved, all of us have moved so much forward. And even within my own practice, I realized that a lot of people, once upon a time, again, I had to convince or explain, you know, why that was, and, you know, do we have a soul? And now people are just so more open to it. They're just so accepting. So yeah, it was a really good experience for me just to come into that space and work through my own catharsis of having to allow myself to be seen. And then having it in writing means that you have to stand by those words then. A few things I think have maybe even changed even since then, because, you know, like we're moving through this quickening phase, and so many things are still changing for us all, and we are still rising. So yeah, that was the sorry, I'm just grabbing the book now. That was the well, sorry, I just lost my train of thought. But anyway, yeah, what I wanted to do is, this questions that I answer in the book is, what am I doing here? And I think that's a really important thing for a lot of us, is that we come to this planet, and our soul, and it's a question that a lot of us ask, you know, why am I here? Like, who am I? And I know that that's personally what I came with. And I know that my soul didn't really want to be here. And I find that a lot of, and that's why I went searching for spirituality, is to try to work out, like, you know, why am I here? What is my purpose? And reincarnation will often give you that purpose, or a clue to that purpose. Yeah, so the other questions, yeah, what is my purpose in life? Why do I keep making the same mistakes? You know, those same patterns that keep going over and over. And yeah, that I have found that just through doing past life regression and working with people's charts, is that that's the biggest thing, is that they can't understand why they keep attracting the same things into their lives. And even when they consciously don't want to, something will invite in that energy to them, and they find that they are stuck and unsure about how to get out of it. And so that's why a past lifetime understanding is good, because it helps you to understand and to sort of and be relieved by, okay, so I'm repeating a past pattern that's not really, it's not all mine. It's something that I have brought with me. And now it's about understanding, how to stop repeating that pattern. Yeah, so why do I have so much fear? That was a big one for me, and I use an example of that in the book about how I suffered from a lot of homesickness and traveling from a small country town in central Queensland here in Australia to Sydney. Really put an amazing amount of homesickness within my system, and then working then as a registered nurse, I started to feel that in around me, and I could not understand because there was nothing within my personal life. Okay, so I was going through big changes, but nothing that you could pinpoint and say, where's this fear coming from? You know, like why do I have that? And that's when I started to look into, you know, like going to see someone for help. And as it turns out, I just happened to live in the building next door to where Helga Davis was, and her window on the front said, have you lived a past life before? Do you have fear that you can't explain? Are you repeating the same patterns? And I'm walking past this sign going to work, to the train station, you know, like nearly every day. And every day for about 6 months, I've gone, yeah, that's me. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. And finally, after maybe 6 months, I got up enough courage to actually go in and find out what was going on. And yeah, it's been a progress. So that would have been in about 1985. And so because the information has been so valuable to me, and I've seen how it has such an impactful, powerful message for so many here, that I just wanted to bring that forward and bring it into our, not only our present, but into our future as well, because breaking this cycle is not just about relearning lessons or redoing things for our present, but it's helping us with our future and raising the consciousness of everybody moving forward. Yeah, so I'm just going back through these questions. Is there really a God? Do I really have spiritual guides or guardian angels? That was something that I had no idea even existed. You know, like so much of my past in this lifetime and then in my past lifetime was all about repression and suppression. And most of my lifetimes I was a female. So that would have been something that, you know, you weren't like children. You were seen and not heard, and you weren't allowed to have a voice. So therefore, you shut off from all of that spirituality, from all of those things, because you were conditioned to be safe, to be protected. And so bringing that forth into this lifetime, I even had issues with that. I had a very skeptical mind, and do they really exist? You know, but now I realize that, oh my God, I mean, so many things have helped me just by inviting in my guides and asking them for help. And, you know, and even asking for things for other people as well, and, you know, to purify water and doing all sorts of things, is, and seeing it happen, you think, oh, these are miracles. They're things that are, we don't often ask our guides to do these things for us. We think we're alone. And I think that's part of the suppression that we've all been conditioned to believe and to swallow over the centuries, that we have no control, we have no power, and that we have to worship to a god or a system that kept us repressed. And so that's why a lot of past lifetimes are shifting through us now a lot faster than they would have. Sometimes we're finding that people, I'm finding within my practice and within myself, that you can be reliving more than one past life at a time, because we're trying, our souls are trying to get this sorted out because of the need for this rising in consciousness so that we can get as many souls to understand this and become almost like a giant firewall that protects us from inner and outer negativity and destruction. Yeah. What is the meaning of karma? Yeah, we can go into that a bit more. Why do some people have psychic abilities? I think we all have psychic abilities. It's purely and simply that, again, it's about that repression, about blocking this out so that we don't have to face that fear. Or, you know, centuries ago, people were burnt at the stake. People were repressed, so therefore they had to protect themselves. So bringing that forward now is incredibly important, and I see that happening. So many people are so much more open to channeling, like, you know, than ever before. It's almost going to become mainstream, which is just amazing. What happens when we die? You know, we're getting so much more information now about people that have near-death experiences and that talk about what they see and what is on the other side. So yeah, it's a big subject, and it's only a little book. So I feel that I've kind of even just maybe just been that bridge from trying to translate a lot of this spirituality, because so many people still become very confused. There's so many people out there saying, well, I do this and I do that, and how do we make sense of it all? We're coming from that linear history where you know, everything had to be ordered, and there was none of that multidimensional stuff. And so now, as we're starting to understand all of this multidimensionality, we're trying to find a way that we can navigate through so that we can understand it and bring it into our consciousness and accept it. Because I find a lot of souls, when they come for a session, one of the biggest things is that, yeah, I can do this, but I need to know why. I need to understand, you know, is this going to be beneficial? Is it worth my effort? So, and I don't blame them. We all need to be discerning so that we can protect ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sorry, I felt like I was raving on a bit.
No,
No,
I have
not
so
at
much
all. Not at
information in
all.
my head. I'm trying to, yeah, get it all out there.
Well, and I agree with you about the healing future generations.
Yes.
And especially with the ancestral healing.
Yeah.
We need to go back and do some ancestral healing. And once we do that, we heal future generations as well as
Yes.
past generations and our DNA,
Yeah.
the process.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, there's generational trauma, and there's also past life trauma as well. So
Mhm.
when we're healing that, the future generations are people that we may never know, because we're bringing this all forward. And I think that's why history can teach us so much about our present and our future, because with history you have things that happen like the Berlin Wall. Like, who would have thought that that would have ever come down? Who would have thought that we would have been having this conversation and talking about things that were once taboo? So things are changing. So the more that we heal ourselves and heal the traumas from our generations and from our past lives, sometimes there's a crossover as well. There's people that you meet,
Mhm.
your soul group, your family, you have attracted for a reason, and contracts that you needed to work through with them. So there can be that crossover, but it's getting to that point where we are connected to everything and everyone, and that's where we're headed, into that whole oneness.
Well, and I feel like we are that. We are all connected and we are all one.
Yes.
And the
Yeah.
inversion came when we were being taught that we are separate and we need to look
Yes.
outside of ourselves for
Yes.
healing and for source and so forth.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's not true. It's
Yeah.
within, it's all within us.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And we need to realize, and I'm glad that we are coming back to the fact that we are all one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unity consciousness.
Yes.
Yes. I like that word.
I like that word too.
And we are all one with source, with
Yeah.
our creator.
Yes.
So, because I do know that there's a lot of false light channels out there.
Yes.
And we don't subscribe to that.
Yeah.
We subscribe to the organic creator, the original,
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And actually, we are part of that original creator ourselves. We are a fractal
Yeah.
of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
It reminds me of a vision that I had. I don't know. I don't even remember if I mentioned it in the previous. I have spoken about it a lot to my community because it was such a profound moment for me. And I was actually in Uganda and I was going to help with an orphanage over there. Which is another story, which is part of my purpose, which is about understanding the beauty of and the truth about home and what home means to so many people. And for some reason, in my lifetime, I have attracted energy around orphans and orphanages. Even I actually went to school with children who were from an orphanage. And but going back to this vision, I was sitting there thinking about how I could best serve, but also because not only be of service, but to protect myself as much as possible because like I was worried about malaria, and I had to keep my immunity strong. I'm in a country where I only know the director of the orphanage. I don't know anybody else, and I'm in a country that's a dictatorship. There's police. It's there's army and police run the state. So there was a lot of that going on. Even though I felt completely protected, I went into I was doing a little routine that I do in the mornings where in the hotel where I was staying. And I suddenly got this vision of a light channel that was that sat probably about the length of my spinal column. And part of it was, it had, I try to describe it because when you feel something there that is not of this world, there is no words. But it was like there were tentacles that were coming off me. So my physical being was the housing for this thing within me that moved out. And as they moved out, each one of them had like an antenna, and it had an intelligence within each tentacle, and it was reading the energy of the room. It was reading the energy of the country, of the earth, of the people that I was meeting, of the intelligence of my soul and my soul's journey and lifetimes. And it felt like, yeah, there was a total connection to everything and everyone. And I thought, oh my God, this is amazing. And it's only, how am I going to share this? This is incredible. Where is this coming from? What is this all about? So that was over 12 months ago. And now I realize that what that was about was something that is within all of us. We have that connection to, and that level of intelligence within us, because we are connected to everything and everyone. We are multidimensional beings, and that when we are moving through the earth, and when we're moving through our life and our environment, we're connecting on a deeper level to other souls all of the time, and we're reading their lifetimes, and some people we're resonating with, and some people we're kind of like picking up a lifetime that presents itself that we may have been with them, or that we recognize their energy as something that we've seen before, particularly, you know, old souls that have, you know, lived many lifetimes and been through so much. They have an extra wisdom as such, or experience that in some aspects has dented their soul, or has changed their programming a little bit into that heaviness. But if we can open up and access that, it really does give us, and can I say the word power? It gives us that self-empowerment. And now I understand why we have been suppressed for so long, why the church in particular and you know, rulers have tried to block us, because I think they were privy to this information, that they knew, or something was seeded here that showed them that people are a lot more powerful than they realize. We all have this within us. We have to be able to open it up. And look, I haven't, even having said that, I have not had that experience since. But believe me, that vision stays with me, and I work on that vision every morning. When I wake up, that's part of one of my rituals, is that staying on track to that vision, because that's part of all of our soul purpose, is to actually get to that point where we become so open that we can become part of who we are really meant to be.
Wow.
That's so very well
Sorry,
said.
I just hit you.
Yeah.
No, it's beautiful. It's so very well said. And there's so
Thank
much
you.
that you just said, so much, you know, that it's wow.
I had to write it down because at the time it's like, what just hit me? Like, what is this? This is like, this is me, but is it really me? Where is it coming from? Am I having some sort of is it the malaria medication? What's going on? But then I have heard other
No,
people
and
talk
I
about
believe, I'm sorry. Go
yeah.
ahead.
No, I was going to say I have heard other people talk about things maybe in a little bit of a different vocabulary, but I just go, yeah. That, so we're all getting information from source, but we're getting it in our language and something that we can interpret. And it's just amazing how over all of the modalities, that same message just comes through. So yeah,
Yeah,
loving it.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And even though there was this movie that had a bunch of bugs in it, I can't remember the name of it, but there was this ant, and I guess it was the leader of all the ants or whatever, and he was talking about how the ants we could not allow the ants to realize how powerful they were, because there were so many of them that they could overtake us, you know.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the same
life.
thing. Yeah.
Bugs
We are
life.
the ants.
That's
Because
it.
the grasshoppers, the
Yeah.
grasshoppers came to the ants because the ants had to feed them.
Yes. And they couldn't let the ants know how powerful they were, because the ants were actually outnumber them and could conquer them. And that's the same thing as with
Yeah.
us. The
Mhm.
Yeah.
power
We
that
had a network. And
they
that
don't want us to
yeah,
know how
yeah,
powerful we actually are.
yeah,
Absolutely. I call them pendulums because they a pendulum swings.
yes,
And so these are pendulums, and these people help those pendulums swing, and they feed it the energy that it wants.
yeah,
And if you're under the influence of the pendulum and you're helping it to swing, you're never going to wake up.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah. Well, I
Wow.
suppose that's why we're here, is to try to get as many people through, to help them to awaken at their level, you know, that at their abilities to progress and grow and overcome their fear. But it's, yeah, there's a lot more opportunity now than there ever has been. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And so
yeah,
many more people now are waking up.
yes, absolutely, yeah.
Yes. And if we can maybe just touch on.
Oh, let's see if she comes back.
She's frozen.
Yeah.
Technology. Yeah.
It's
We
cold
can
here
touch
in the
on.
Midwest.
It is.
Sorry, say that again.
I said it's cold here in the Midwest, so sometimes
Yeah.
that makes the internet run hinky.
Oh,
You know.
okay. Yeah. Yeah. I was saying to Donna, I saw snow out her window before. It's just, it's unfathomable here. Like, that's the sun out there. So.
Yes. Yes. And tomorrow where I'm at, I'm in Illinois and Raven is in Indiana. So she's just one state next to me. We're about to dip down like single digits
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Okay.
And more snow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
fun. So, but what I was going to ask was, you know, when it comes to astrology and,
Yeah.
you know, people just think, oh, let me check my horoscope today, but it's
Yeah.
more than just a
Yeah.
horoscope, right?
Yeah.
Our
Yeah.
astrology, if we are open to receive new information about ourselves, there's so much that is in our birth chart with
Yeah.
just the day, the time. It's like it's a stamp, right? It's like a screenshot of where everything is at in the sky when we're
Yeah.
born. And
Yeah.
and it's more than just telling us about our personality. So
Yeah.
much more deeper than that.
Yeah, yeah, and that was something that I learnt about a lot. And at the beginning, I remember getting these really big aha moments, like, oh my God, how can that be? It's here on a piece of paper. But what I understood is that, and what I teach now is that when you have that blueprint, they were the conditions that you came back to earth with, and they help you to understand where those karmic implications are. And like I was saying, mine has been all around that home area. And I spent many of my lifetimes running away from home. So that's why, as part of my purpose in this lifetime, it is to understand the importance of home and family, not as just of blood, but of humanity. But yeah, that blueprint will change as you move through. Just it is, even though we write it on a piece of we draw, you know, well, I draw it, I'm old school, on a piece of paper, and it seems like it's something that's just dimensional. It will move with us, just like the Akashic records. If you work through things and get to a point where you're starting to learn things and awaken, then what will happen is that that will shift, and it will take on completely new connotations, because there's always the shadow side to every planet and sign, and there's also the light side of every planet and sign. So when you start working, say, with so with confusion, if you start working through that and you start to accept that, okay, there's some things that I don't really understand now, but I'm going to accept that I'm not going to give in to the fear of my confusion. I'm going to start to just be curious and just to look into this a little bit more and find some clarity around it. Then what happens is that when you get to a point where you start to gain more clarity, what will happen is that you will shift more into the light. So the confusion will start to shift, and you will find that you actually start to become, you'll feel more adequate about yourself. You'll have more a sense of unity within your being, unity that you're not in conflict with yourself anymore, and that you can work through and get more clarity. So that's just one of the signs, and they're all moving like that. So just like I was saying before about that multi-dimensionality and how we're always picking up so much around us, it's so movable. Our chart is also movable as well. And, you know, like if you're clearing something, you're also clearing your past as well, because you're paying back something, a debt that you may have had, something, you know, from karma. Karma is a very, again, it's not from judgment, because a lot of people interpret karma as a judgment. It's something that I did wrong that I have to now redo. But it's not. It's yeah. I can see. Yeah, Donna, you're shaking your head. You know, yeah. It's so true. It's about enlightenment. It's about coming in to what I was talking about, that self-empowerment, and not seeing it. And I think that the health profession has done that as well. You know, like you're sick because there's something that you've done wrong. If we can't find a diagnosis for you, then it has to be you. You know, your immune system's working against you or something. It's your fault. And so that's all part of those little ants, you know, being feeding the grasshoppers. It's like keeping us down. So yeah, karma is about getting back to who we are and remembering who we are above all of those debts. Of course, the programming from the past, because times were pretty barbaric back then. So, you know, like, and I see that in people's past lifetimes, and I see, you know, some people have to work with their anger. They have to work through that, you know, that anger in a past lifetime had caused them to harm another being. But so it's not about being in the guilt and the shame of, oh my God, I did that, because we're seeing it through our eyes now. But we're actually looking at how do I work through this? Through positive energy. I work through this through positive action. And that's the positive of that whole, because Mars is the war sign, the anger, the hate, revenge. It's about working through that by saying, well, why do I feel that way? Why? And so that's how the chart's really good, because it can pinpoint that stuff that we block down on because we're afraid that we will be judged for it, or that we will judge ourselves and punishment is coming. So, yeah.
Yeah, and let me clarify to the audience, like Lisa and I, we do hypnosis and we do past life regressions. So we go through past lives that way.
Yes.
You can tell past lives through astrology.
Yeah. And also, I have actually channeled past lifetimes, as my mentor used to do. She did that just blew me away, how she could do that. I actually I've done the past life, I do past life regression as well. But I sometimes I prefer if someone actually, like you would know, when they start to become regressed, they feel it and they know it. Whereas if you're actually telling them, you know, this is what I see, sometimes it'll resonate and they'll feel that constant relief. It's like, oh my God, now I understand. Like, that makes so much sense.
Mm-hmm.
But then some people will still be in denial about that. But yeah, the regression is good. So sometimes having that combination of both is actually, yeah, can help to pinpoint things a little bit more. But I just love how it just all comes together. It just all fits in like this incredible universe. How we
Mhm.
Well,
all
I like
we
that
all are such extraordinary beings. We really
I
are.
like that you can do it through the astrological chart,
Mhm.
but I like that you can do it both ways through the regression because
Yeah. Well, that's how because that was my past. That's where I came from. I mean, my past in this lifetime was about having a regression session. I was talking about being incredibly homesick, coming from a small country, a small town, moving to a big city, which was Sydney. And when I moved there, I was working in the hospital system, and I felt that some of the other nurses there, perhaps I felt that they were bullying me, but I think perhaps they were just they thought they were having fun, just having a go at my accent, because I spoke with a Queensland drawl, which is very slow, and I would say things a little bit differently, like there's these things called blue underpads, and I can remember saying, can you chuck us a bluey? And like, and they just cracked up laughing. But it was funny, but it hit something from a deeper level with me, that I wasn't being accepted, and that I didn't belong. So I ended up doing a past life regression on that. And what came through was being in the UK in a past lifetime in around the time of the Industrial Revolution. And I'd been brought up in a small town in Yorkshire. And this all came through in my session. And during that time, I my parents, who I had the same parents in this lifetime, were very I hate to say the word basic or simple or simplified. They just weren't interested in anything that was nothing that they could see, hear, or feel. And so I became very bored with my life there and wanted to go out into the world. And so in that past lifetime, without any preparation, without understanding the challenges that I would face, I ran away from home and went to London and got myself into a lot of trouble there. And it was that time, all I could see was the greyness of this place and the misery, when I had come from this country that were in Yorkshire, which was all open fields and green, and there was not that same threat that I met when I was in London. And that life, I ended up running back home, and never venturing out again, too afraid to ever step outside my comfort zone and my security. So that's what I had to work through in this lifetime, was to understand the value, and be grateful for the things that I had, but not to be afraid of going into the unknown, but doing my homework, like having to use my emotional intelligence, which at the time, I can compare that to what I know now. Back then, that was possibly, acceptable. It wasn't in my consciousness at that time. So it was just learning how to come out of my fear. And so Sydney was my challenge, and was the lifetime that I had to work through to be able to survive and thrive in a big major city, which I did, and I loved it and learnt a lot from there. So yeah, that was it really resonated with me, and I could understand that the people, it wasn't a personal attack on me. Those people, that the nurses they were coming forward. I was inviting them in. They were helping me to highlight why I felt the way I did, and to work through it and to understand. And it's through having these amazing experiences like, oh, well, if that gave me so much enlightenment and empowered me, then I need to pass this forward. This needs to be something that I give to the world, give to others, to know and understand that, yeah, we can't live in fear anymore.
Yeah. Very well said again.
Mm-hmm.
David Price has a comment. He says, I like that I know that I will have all of the answers after my time in this realm. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. And then you'll reincarnate and forget it all.
I think part of the reason why we forget is that, can you imagine, and this is something that, because my soul has always spoken to me, I've always felt very connected to my soul, sometimes a little bit more soul than physical body. And that was a problem for me growing up. But what happened was, and I do actually mention that in the book, but what happened is that our soul, if we had memory, too much memory of all of that, my God, when you think about the barbaric things that have happened through history, would we ever actually do anything? Would we ever, sometimes we have to forget in order to remember.
Yes.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah. Yeah.
For
And then,
sure.
we have clues too in this
Yeah,
life.
we do.
So many clues that we just don't, sometimes I guess we don't pay attention to it, but if you do something naturally and you do it well, it could be a past lifetime thing,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's the other thing too that comes through as well. It's not just about the things that we have to bring through. It's also in terms of working through our trauma, our past lifetime trauma, but it's also about birthing and bringing forward the things that we've actually been good at, or the information that we had that we need to share again. And the healing, particularly, like, healing is going to become such a big area, because more and more people will need it to help them to keep rising their consciousness and not falling back into the ant mentality. So with all of this that's coming through, getting back and bringing back the things that we already know, to help birth new things and new inventions. And they say that the new generation, I think they call them the crystal children, are going to they're going to be a lot more into telepathy, and to be able to show us things that will help us to expand. But that doesn't mean that they don't need us as well, because I think we have to teach them about more of the practicalities and about so yeah, we are the bridge generation, the ones that have to translate the old into the new, and bridge that gap between us.
Yeah. David Price says, this is my last time here. I've known it since my pre-birth.
Yeah, it's mine too.
Somebody had told me once that it was my last time here, but I don't think so.
Okay.
Personally, I don't think so. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, look, I when you work through numerology, you can actually work out what lifetime someone is on, and you can tell, and usually a new soul, you can tell them from an old soul. They don't have those same dents. They tend to have more free flow. They have more of an openness, and a curiosity and innocence, and sometimes perhaps a little bit more naivety. But when you have an older soul, as in mine and in David's, you know that contract that you're not coming back. And there was a time when I would have thought that, in my younger days, I actually don't want to be here in this lifetime. Now, I do want to be here now. And because I know that that would be fulfilling a part of my contract here, and it means that it will graduate me to another realm. And during that time, I know that there'll be a lot more work for me to do on the other side.
Yep.
But yeah, I will meet that soul group, which I feel I feel that soul group is around me now, and I know that they will call me back to my other home.
Beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I just personally don't feel, I mean, I don't feel like I'm a new soul, but I don't feel like, I feel like maybe I'm not finished here. I've got more stuff to do.
Yeah.
And so I may be coming back.
Yeah.
And some of you need to watch out. No.
It will be an interesting, it'll be an interesting world, coming back. We all have a break too from the other side. We do get time, we do get a lot of healing. I have seen that that vision of being, particularly people that have suffered with cancer and have had a lot of pain and trauma, physical and emotional, in this lifetime. They can get a longer period of rest over on the other side. And I have seen almost like the laying on of hands of them being in this, almost like I'm just trying to bring back the vision. I see it's almost like a Grecian, like a temple, and there's like a light column or a light tunnel that they enter in, and there is almost like a laying on of hands, and it's helping them to heal from that pain and to rest from the earth. Because a soul coming here, it can be a very shocking birth, is such a shocking experience. And it's that density and leaving that place of light, of beauty, of unity, and coming back down here. It can feel like we've dropped into this whole gravity suit, and we're limited by our age, by our physicality. And so the time that we're away, it's dependent on what that life was like. Someone who passed away quite young, they may only be 20 years away and then come back. So you may actually recognize an older human, may recognize someone that they knew from this life that's come back and is now as a younger person. It may be a child, their child, or their grandchild, and they can see within their eyes that they recognize that soul is someone that they've known.
Yes. And we have a comment from Cinnamon Moon. I was given the choice, and my soul spoke before I could think to answer. It was unexpected for me, but I heard it speak in my voice telepathically. It wasn't done. It was my choice at the time.
And that's a really big thing as well. No, I just wanted to bring in the fact that we are on a planet of free will. And that's something that, like, that's a universal law. So to think that law has been broken for centuries, we've had to swallow so many lies for centuries that we have no free will, that we, that just goes completely against where we're meant to be. And yeah, it is our choice.
Yeah, the ant mentality again.
Yeah.
Cinnamon Moon is my blood sister.
Oh, lovely.
She's a
Yeah,
beautiful lady. I love her.
lovely. Yeah.
But yeah, it's that ant mentality again that they're trying to keep us in so that we won't realize the truth when we,
Yeah.
yeah.
And if we could just spin back, Kim, to your story in regards to, like you had mentioned, when you traveled, you were homesick, right? And
Yeah.
that generated that feeling within you, like that you wanted to get an answer. Why am I
Yes.
feeling like this?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you discovered it because
Yeah.
you asked the question, you dug
Yeah.
deeper, and
Yeah.
then you went into your past life
Yeah.
to receive that vision or your story
Yeah.
from back then. So in this current moment right now, you've healed yourself from the
Yes.
homesick
Yes.
sensation, feeling, etc.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I think homesickness comes from when we were in the other realm as well. And a lot of loneliness on the planet is here now because we do remember that we have been around a whole, like a soul group. We've been in a soul family, and we've had to leave them. So sometimes I think we're homesick for another place, not on this planet. We're homesick for having that enlightenment without having the density, without having to have all these tests and limitations that Earth can feel like, until we understand our greater purpose and the truth. Yeah.
I feel like you're totally correct in that we do remember on a subconscious level, we
Yeah.
remember that other place. And
Yeah.
some of us have the feelings, like we just don't quite fit in. This isn't where we're supposed to
Yeah.
be,
Yeah.
and all of that. And it's because, like you said, we were in that realm of the light and the love and all of that. And then all of a sudden, we're thrown into this meat suit
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we have all these boundaries and heaviness and all of that. And our
Yeah.
soul remembers the other place.
Mm. Yeah.
So we have a comment from David Price says, when I was born, it really hurt my head, but when I was held by my feet and hanging upside down, it was, yeah, I'm one of these.
I love that. The realization
Mhm.
Yeah.
is back again. Yeah, and that's just, yeah, it's almost like that's what the older souls go. They know that it's like, oh, I've been here before. I know where I am. Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's great.
Yeah. And I believe that the people that we meet, are our soul family. Um,
Yeah.
we may have a family here on earth, and that is just our family here on earth. That is the
Mm.
meat suit family. And
Yeah.
sometimes we may not get along with them, and
Yeah.
we may not even feel like we belong there, but for some reason we
Yeah.
were born into that family, and there's usually a good reason for it.
Yeah.
Haven't figured it out yet, but yeah,
Yeah.
our soul remembers so much. If we would pay more attention to our heart and what our
Yes.
heart is telling us instead of the brain,
Yeah.
because
Absolutely.
the heart
Yeah.
feels, the brain thinks.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And and that's an important lesson to learn as well, to get out of our heads, because
Yes,
that's how we've been taught, that's how we've been conditioned.
Mhm.
yes.
And that's where a lot of the fear sits.
Hmm.
So yeah.
And that's where a lot of people get into, and I'm guilty of it myself, from overthinking some things, And but you're right. Get out of your head.
Yes. Out of the head, drop into the heart.
Right?
Yeah.
Use the heart discernment. And you said it a little more kind than I would have, conditioned. That's a gentle way of saying it. We've been conditioned. I say program because that's, we're like programmed with the herd mentality.
Yeah. Speaking of the herd mentality, David Price says, I don't like crowds and I really can't handle fake conversations. That's the herd mentality,
Yeah. Did you catch that football game last weekend? Did you catch the score?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because that's the conditioning.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. Indeed.
Yeah, the all of the fear that the media put out there to try to keep us in that fear mentality.
Fear is their best way of controlling.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they gain control, is through fear and threats. Those people who threaten you are basically trying to get control of you because they feel like they don't have that control.
Mm-hmm.
Those are what I call the pendulums again.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It swings back and forth.
Yep. And you can give it the energy to swing, or you can choose to ignore it, and the swing will start to shut down once you ignore it.
Mm-hmm.
But the media and all of that just kind of brings that swing on really loud, brings a good swing in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're very calculated. They they do these things deliberately, and they do it to hook into our consciousness to see, like the herd mentality. What are we going to get them to pay attention to? What can we use now to scare them and get them to get out of their center and worry about this and that? And
back a while ago, it was toilet paper.
I was just thinking the same thing. When COVID happened, I mean, everybody had to go get the paper.
Yeah.
There was no
toilet paper shortage, but it's like they bring fear, they propagate fear, and that's how they control you. So and that whole thing, the dark forces, created that whole thing, and it was a big fear mongering.
Yeah. And a lot of the words that people use, or that the media uses as well, has a lot of there's an energy that sits behind certain words, particularly if it's been like an ancient word that that it kind of like makes people feel that they're doomed, they're cursed, condemned. All of these words are very, very ancient, and they have that. So it's actually speaking not just to us in our minds. It's actually speaking to our soul, and trying to put that hook in and go, oh, like loss, scarcity, and again, like with the scarcity of the toilet paper, that you must conform, or fall in. So that it's often about the power of the words that are used as well. And but there's also the positive. The word light is a very, very strong word. The word heart.
I'm working on a course now. It's called Vibrational Words.
Perfect.
And it's all about exactly what you said. There are words that we speak, and when we speak these words, they raise our vibration because we are frequencies.
Yeah.
And so what they want to do is they want to lower our frequency. So they give us these words and these feelings that lower our frequency. And we need to learn how to use words to bring our frequency back.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, and bring back also a lot of terms in terms of how we bring children up as well, without say, oh, don't do that, don't be silly, that those sorts of words really can have a very strong impact on our children, because they're much more in tune with their soul than we are. The older we get, until you get to those later times, when people are coming back across the veil and they're ready to pass. So in youth, and then as in old age as well. But in that middle ground, we shut a lot of that down. So yeah, that whole curiosity, and if little children start, because they see things, they're much more open, they have vision, they get visions, or they see their past lifetime. And if they're in an environment where people say, oh no, that's not real, you're making that up, or oh, you've got a good imagination, it's all, then it all of a sudden they take that on board as, oh yes, I can't be like that, because I won't be loved or I won't be accepted if I do go down that path.
I don't conform. Yeah, and funny thing is like my grandchildren, before, when they used to spend the night and their dad would come and get them, one of my grandchildren, he would cry. He didn't want to leave. He wanted to stay there. And I would tell him, look, you have this movie screen right up in here. And anytime that you want to see Glammy or be around Glammy, you just look into your movie screen and she's there. Well, that
That's
was
beautiful.
like maybe 4 or 5 years ago. So we were going to the zoo and we were walking, and one of them said, "Hey, Glammy, remember that movie screen you told me about?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "I saw you on it the other day. You were cooking."
Wow.
And I'm like, and I was thinking to myself, oh my God, they're using their third eye,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's, an instance of it is you give them something like that
Yeah.
and allow them to evolve with it, like their
Yeah.
dad didn't say, oh, don't do that, that sort of thing. He
Yeah.
didn't encourage it at all, and so boom, they're learning to open up their third eye.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you say, children, very young children, they know their past lives. They know who they were. They knew names. They knew a lot of things. And there have been so many children who've talked about their past life and come to find out that was actually a person, and it could all be verified. And how would a 5-year-old know about these things,
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, yeah, children are so open and so, alive with it, and society crushes it.
Yeah. Yeah. And the more I think that people like yourself, you bring that forth, I think that the more acceptable that will become, and they will, this newer generation will just be so much more conversant in
Yeah.
pictures, because we're seeing pictures all of the time. Our dream, we have dreams, and those dreams are bringing us, so we know vision, we know pictures. We've just, again, like you said, we haven't become conversant again in opening up that third eye, and about seeing those visions again.
Yeah. And David Price says, my second awakening is when my innocence returned to me. See?
Oh,
There you
beautiful.
go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the
Beautiful.
fool in the tarot card is not really a fool. He's very innocent, you know.
Mm. Mm. Yeah. Yeah. The tarot are amazing.
I love them.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're quite movable as well. Like they shift depending on the person that's having the reading, that's getting the information, because there's so many connotations, and the card that follows will mean something completely different to the next person. So it's just, and whatever's happening in their life, it can mean one thing for somebody else, and someone else may get that same reading, that same card, but it means something completely different.
Different for
So
them. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
Right. Different perceptions, different
Yeah,
vibrations
different
from.
lifetimes. And
Now, let me just ask about your book. Is it
yes,
available on Amazon? Where
yes, it
can
is.
people find you?
If you actually just type in the inner forces and then my name, Kim Kent, it should come up. And it's so if you're in Australia, it will be amazon.com.au. So it will probably come quicker than if you just do amazon.com, which is the US. So if you're in the US, obviously it will come from there. So yeah, I've made it available on both those sites. Yeah.
Awesome. The inner
Yeah.
forces.
Yeah.
Forces, right? Because
Awesome. So let's see. We always ask our guests this question. I need to make a video of all of our guests answering this question because
Oh
we ask
yeah.
every
That
show.
would be amazing. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
what message would you like to leave our audience with?
Look, I think because of the subject we've been talking about in terms of not just reincarnation, but the true meaning of, where we're moving forward, and I've been using it a lot, um, wishing people happy birthday, and I've been saying, remember your magic, and I think that's what we all have to do. We all have to remember that we are so much more than we believe we are, so much more than we have been told, and that once we start to come into that, that will be magical. That will be a miracle.
yes.
Yes, absolutely. So Kim, you're doing a lot of classes and things like that. So, we're going to have to ask you to come back.
Of course. Yes,
Thank you.
definitely.
I've been working on. I'm actually planning. I obviously I got this message through, and sometimes I feel like there's no co-creation happening. I'm just getting these downloads, and it's like, am I meant to be doing that? And okay, so you want me to do that? Well, hold on a minute. Yeah, let me get my head around this first. But in the new year, I'm looking at running workshops in helping people understand boundaries and working with boundaries, because that's been a really big issue for me in my life. And funnily enough, when I started to study it for myself, all of a sudden I felt all of these things coming forward to me to actually get me to define and refine my own boundaries. So it was almost like, oh my God, I'm being given the masterclass here now, and it's come in terms of practice. This is what you've got to do. So yeah, I'm thinking of combining a workshop in terms of mentoring, but then also doing the hypnosis and the therapy to go with that, so they both work together as making that more of a strong anchor for anybody that is having problems with their boundaries.
Oh, that's going to be lovely. Yeah, I
No,
understand
yeah,
the download thing because I mean, for a while there, I was getting these downloads and it was like, wait a minute, hold on, let me
yeah,
get
yeah,
this one first. And it was more about the classes that I've been putting on my website, and
yeah.
like you said, going through them myself,
Yeah.
and I'm learning about frequencies and words right
Yeah.
now. And it's like, okay, like I don't mind the downloads, but can you give them to me a little less, a little sparingly, because I
And
need to
also,
grasp it before the next one comes.
yeah, and also the timing. Like I can get something come through at 2:30 in the morning, and I actually, I thought I don't even want to get out of bed, so I've got my phone there, and I'm actually just recording it. And I was listening to the recording the other day, and I sound so drowsy, and it's like, oh my God. But I had to do something because I knew I wouldn't be able to go back to sleep if I didn't do that.
Yeah, because and they'll say, well, you need to go write this down. And I'm like, I need to get up at 5 a.m. and go to work,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Can we write? Can you give it to me so that I can write it down at a time that's a little more convenient?
Yeah, yeah,
Not 3 a.m.
yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
So it's been so amazing having you here. I
Yeah.
swear that
Thank you.
we have, it's like the conversation just flows with you so nicely.
Oh,
Yes.
I'm pleased
You have
because
so
sometimes I
many.
feel like I'm just like spitting all this stuff out. I'm
No,
spitting
it's awesome.
in this swirl of energy, and you're trying to
It's
keep
awesome.
like everyone's trying to, the audience is trying to keep up with me. Like, well, what's she talking about now? Going down rabbit holes, but yeah,
No,
it's just my keenness, my eagerness to say, this is it. This is where we're, here, take this out of my brain and see it like this.
yeah.
Thank you so much, Kim.
Thank you.
You are such a pleasure. I know you will be back to share
Thank
more
you.
of your journey and what transpires and blossoms for you for the year of
Thank you.
2026.
Yeah.
So I know you will be back in some point in 2026 to
Yeah.
share more expanded conversations with our audience.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Lisa and I will be back after the first of the year.
Hmm.
So
Yes, January, I believe I don't have a calendar in front of me.
I know.
Open the calendar.
It's okay.
So 23 minus 14, I believe, is 9. Yes. So January 9th will be our first show.
You can tell she does all the scheduling, I swear.
January 9th. We are going to shift our frequency a little bit because we do every other Friday. So we're going to start the year off, and then for January, and then in February, we're rotating our alternating Fridays. So when January comes, be sure to join Raven and I. Our first show of the year will be just the two of us sharing our thoughts and our ideas for the 2026 year.
So that will be January 10.
Yes.
For Australia.
Yes.
And,
thank you.
Yeah, and that will be so you will still be in daylight saving in January.
Yes.
Yeah. So it'll be 11 a.m. Australia time.
Yes.
And Cinnamon.
Actually, no, 11 a.m. Queensland time. And then if you're coming from other places that have daylight saving in Australia, it will be 12 midday.
Oh,
you gotta love the clock shifts. It shifts different places at different times, and talk about confusion. You need more confusion.
Cinnamon says, "Blessed holidays and love you like blood. Love you like blood too, Cinnamon."
Thank you.
And David Price says, "Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year." Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And we look forward to seeing y'all in 2026.
Yes.
Everybody have a happy Yule, Merry Christmas, whatever it is that you believe, have the best one ever.
Absolutely. And remember, it's about presence with a C, not presents with a T, right?
Perfect.
Gifts.
Perfect.
It's about our presence with one another.
Yes.
Awesome.
Perfectly
Thank you
said.
so much. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on Soul Fire Ascension with Raven and Lisa Lovelight. You can also catch Soul Fire Ascension on YouTube and Rumble at Soul Fire Ascension, or listen anytime on Spotify. Don't forget, like, share, and subscribe to help us grow this community of light. Soul Fire Ascension is proudly sponsored by ravenshealingarts.com.